What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Interrail guide. Now this video is going to be split into two parts. Today we are covering what you need to do before you actually go Interrail, which includes everything on the website, the app, how you do reservations, talking about the prices, the different types of tickets that you can buy through the Interrail website, which we will be looking at today. And then in the next video we're going to be talking about all the other things that you do before going Interrail and whilst you're there, including safety, how you actually manage to find your trains, and a lot more, including night trains and stuff like that. But as I said, today we are looking at getting your Interrail trip planned and booked. And obviously we're going to be using the Interrail website to do that. Now also in the next few days there will be a channel intro, because obviously this is the first video on this channel. Basically, I like to travel, I like to make videos. You put the two together, you come up with stuff like this. I'll be doing travel vlogs, travel films, stuff like that. But as I said, that will be in a separate video. But if you are new here, which everyone will be, hit the subscribe button if you do enjoy this, drop a like if you find it helpful. But let's jump into the video. Okay, so we're starting over here on Google, obviously, and pretty straightforward. This part, you just type in Interrail and you get the website. Now if you are from America, I believe you type in EU Rail or EU Rail, and I believe that's your equivalent. If you are from England, I'll cover this now. You see, this is the standard Interrail website, this one here. But then if you are from England, you also can use myinterrail.co.uk. That's the website I actually use for mine. People think, is it real? Is it not? It is, because I got my Interrail pass. I've done my Interrailing, and that's why I'm sharing my experiences with you, hopefully to inspire you to Interrail. Maybe this winter, maybe next summer. I know a lot of people go during the summer. That's when I certainly went. But for today, we are going to be looking at the Interrail website, the EU version. And once the website's loaded, you will be greeted by this page. I don't know if sale will be there, because they do sales from time to time, but not all the time. They have got one on at the minute. That will be something I talk about in the future. But first, you want to ask yourself, how long are you going for? Where do you want to go? What type of things do you want to experience? And that will all play into which pass is right for you. Okay, so a really good tool is if you actually go to passes and go to choose the right Interrail pass, and it brings up this search engine, and you can literally click, as I said, how many days you want to do, how many of you are going, and what countries you want to visit. Now, if you're not sure on the countries you want to visit, I'll come to that in just a moment, but most people tend to have a rough guide of where they want to go, and that's the whole reason they want it Interrail, because they do want to visit multiple places. Now, let's just say 21 days. It's not letting me type in 21. There we go, 21 days. How many of you are traveling? Let's just go for one. Let's say you're booking it for yourself and your friends will book their own or whatever. You go through, it tells you your length of your trip, how many travelers, and then this is where it gets really helpful for you. You literally pick which countries you want to travel to. So which country would you like to visit? Let's just say Croatia. How long will you spend there? Obviously, you don't have to be accurate with this. They're not going to hold you to it. And how many days do you want to take to travel there? Croatia, 4. There we go. Let's get on the next one. You look for another country. Which country do you want to go to? Let's think, where's near Croatia? Hungary. Let's go there. Maybe you want to do a couple of days in Budapest. 2 days in Budapest. Do you want to travel from Croatia to Hungary? Yeah, go for it. And then it literally adds up, you know, where you're going, and it gives you options of your Interrail passes that you can get. So obviously this is second class. You've got the passes there. It tells you what they are. So that's 7 days within 1 month. What's this one? This is 7 days within 1 month. I think that's exactly the same. That's with the discount added. That's obviously the sale. If you want to go first class, you want to go in a bit of style, there we go, upgrade to first class. It has all the options there for you. The other option that most people are obviously going to take is just go to global pass. Now this is where you can use it in as many countries as you want, and you essentially just pick how long you're going for, and that's literally as straightforward as it is. You don't have to say where you go, and you don't have to say where you're going on that other thing. That is just to help you. But as you can see, this is the Interrail Global Pass. So this has got the sale on. Usually the standard prices will be there, but you can pick travel within 5 days over a 15-day period. So that means you can go for 15 days, but only 5 of them you can actually use on the trains, or you can do continuous ones down here. So you see travel every day within 15 days, travel every day within 22 days. So that would be the 3-week option. Travel every day within a month. That's the highest option that they do give you, and you can change your age if you're an adult or if you're a senior. If you're going with your family, you can also change all that, but I am youth, so I'll stick to youth. And if you want to go for first class, you can simply click first class, give it a minute, it will load and it'll update the prices. Now think about first class, it's actually really handy, because not many people do it, so if you do want that bit of extra comfort, maybe to sleep or something, go with it, because it's really useful, because first class carriages are always empty. You can probably have a decent sleep during your train rides on first class, so it is worth considering, and it's not too much more. It is a bit more, but especially if you're getting the discount, you know, it doesn't really get noticed, to be fair. Okay, so you've picked your pass. Now you want some inspiration on your destination. Just simply go to the destinations tab, and let's see, what country do you want to visit? What ones haven't you really heard much about? I'm not going to go with Slovenia because that's coming up in another video. I've not been to Italy, so let's just go to Italy. And you can, it's a really, really good little search tool. This, it gives you little facts that you're probably not too interested in. I mean, you're looking to book an Interrail, you're probably not bothered about the population of Italy. You're probably not bothered about the language. It's straightforward for Italy. But the currency really comes in handy, and the dialing code, you never know if anything happens while you're out there. It could come in handy. But this is the main thing that, you know, people use this section for. Trains in Italy, so it actually gives you more information on the train network, so you can actually research your trains beforehand. Maybe if you're already in the country and you want to see if a train is on time, use that wisely. Places to visit: Venice, you can see Mount Etna, I believe that's called, in Sicily. As I said, I've never been to Italy. It is somewhere where I really want to go, and it just gives you little snippets of that country that you may find interesting and may swing you to actually go and visit these places and plan into your trip. Now, once you've looked through the destinations, as I said, you might want to plan your trip, and there is a section called exactly that, plan your trip. And the most handy tool in this section for me was find train times. I used this so extensively when I was planning my Interrail trip. And as I said, it's literally, once you know your destinations, this comes in really handy. So let's say you are in Italy and you want to go from Milan to, let's say, Rome. You just simply type in where you're going to, from which station as well, what date you're planning on traveling. So let's say I'm currently away, I want to travel to Rome on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. That is perfectly fine. You find your train route, and it will tell you the train times, the train routes, where it stops, how many changes you've got to make if you are required to reserve a seat, which we will come to in a minute, and which type of train. Now, it's usually just in a code there, but if you do open it up, it will tell you what that code stands for. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that because I don't speak Italian, but it literally tells you the duration of the train, how long you're going to be on it, so you can plan the rest of your day. Do you need to reserve a seat on the train? There's nothing worse than turning up to a train where you needed to reserve, or it's really, really busy and you've not got a reservation. It just makes the process a whole lot more complicated and a lot more stressful. So always use this little tool to really help you plan ahead. And, you know, you can use a piece of paper. You can write down all the trains you might want to be on certain days, a rough guide. I actually planned it extensively because I was only there for a short period of time, whereas some people go for a month or two and they have the flexibility to do whatever they want, and they simply just book the trains while they're there. That's obviously the more favoured route, but if you are on a bit more of a stricter schedule, use this app extensively. It really does help. Okay, so once you've picked your train times, pick the trains you want to be on. As you've seen, if there is a reservation required, it's very, very simple. You go to the reservations tab. I advise you reserve before you go. You can do it at the train stations. We've done it numerous times when we went, but certain trains I'd advise doing beforehand, and you know, they just send them out to your house. It's a lot more simple process than having to find where you reserve when you're there, and maybe some of the people don't speak such good English, or whatever language you speak, maybe they don't speak that language. It does make it a bit more difficult, but it really is easy, to be fair. There's obviously a lot of information on fees. You get charged a fee, I believe it's about €8 to reserve tickets online, and obviously there's booking fees and stuff like that, which obviously you avoid in person, but obviously you have the peace of mind to know you've already reserved. But you simply go to reservations, as I just done there, book with the Interrail reservation service, and it is literally straightforward as book your seats. I believe you don't use your Interrail log-on that you use to purchase your ticket for this. I believe you sign up again. I can't remember, but I think it was. And you can actually merge other accounts. So if you didn't book them all together with your friends or whoever you're traveling with, maybe you book them separately, you can actually add them onto your account so you can get seats together. That's what we done, and it was much simpler than it sounded, to be fair. If you were reserving at the train stations, however many there are of you, if there's 10, all take your train passes, give them in, they'll reserve them there and then for you. Obviously you avoid the fees, but you are running the risk of the train might be fully booked. I highly doubt it, because I went peak time in summer, not a single train was busy, except one, and it wasn't even fully booked then, it was just really busy. The rest of them were perfectly fine. Okay, so now you've bought your pass, you've decided where you want to go, you've done some reservations. There still might be some other places that you're not too sure on. So when you go to plan your trip, you can actually get trip ideas. This is actually a really useful section, this plan your trip. It literally gives you so much information. But trip ideas, you click on that and it will literally give you ideas for your trip, what routes you can take, what you can do in certain cities. 24 hours in Amsterdam, I'd advise spending a bit longer in Amsterdam. There's a lot to actually see in Amsterdam. It's a nice place to go. So obviously other stuff like the 10 best scenic routes, that's really cool. Best Interrail routes, there's a lot of things. There is also a section on here, if you do look extensively, that where it shows you other people's videos of Interrail, and I can't for the life of me remember where that section is, but I know it is on here because I actually used that to find a place that we did visit and we really enjoyed. So if you can find that, have a look, because some of the videos are actually really good and they do inspire you to potentially try new places that you wouldn't have thought going. A lot of people go to the general places, Paris, Amsterdam, Berlin, Prague, etc. And I'm gonna hold my hands up, I done that, but I did also go to some other places that you just wouldn't think about going unless you obviously heard a story or were inspired by someone else to go and check the place out. A few final things with Interrail, obviously in this first part of the guide. Check out the sales. Sales are great. They always do 15%, and it's every other month, I'd say. I got the sale when I booked mine, and then I know other people that have got the sale. I know some people that just booked them and didn't realize there was a sale, but always keep your eye out. There's always 15% deals going on sometime or another. They tend to be towards the end of the month. They're very clever about that because they know people have probably been paid. Final thing is actually paying the pass protection plan when you're actually booking your pass. So as you can see, I'm in the checkout now and it comes up with this. It's £12 or £10. I believe it changes for different things. I believe I paid £10 for mine. And it's basically if your pass gets lost or stolen whilst you're away, or at any point, you are covered to get a new one, as soon as possible kind of thing. And people probably think, oh, it's not going to get lost, it's not going to get stolen. But I don't want to scare you, there are a lot of pickpocketers around in Europe. And if you do just tend to have your pass dangling out of your pockets, someone probably will try and take it, even if they don't know what it is. They may think it's money, they'll take it, realise it's not, but they're not just going to come back and give it back to you, are they? They're going to take it. So pay that £12. People are like, oh, I'm not paying it, but let's face it, you're shedding out £200, £300, £400 on an Interrail pass. An extra £12 isn't going to hurt you, and especially in the long run. And a quick story on that, we were in Berlin, we were booking a reservation to go down to Munich. A lad comes up to us behind us. He says he was in Amsterdam, he got the train to Berlin and someone robbed his pass on the train. He arrived in Berlin, he didn't have a ticket and he got fined €100. Worst part is, they also robbed his wallet as both of them were out, so he didn't even have the €100 to pay the fine. So he was absolutely screwed and he didn't have the pass protection plan. So guys, really bear in mind and do actually get the plan. Okay, so that's the first part of the Interrail pass guide done. Obviously, we just spoke about the stuff online today. In the next part, we're obviously going to be talking about what happens when your Interrail pack arrives. You get a map, you get your tickets, what to do when you're actually on your trip, and the preparation for your trip. Getting the Interrail app is also very key. That will be in the next episode. If you have found this one useful, do let me know by slapping a like on the video. It obviously helps a lot. Comment down below any other questions you may have and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as possible. Obviously, as I said, everyone is going to be new here. It's a new channel, so do subscribe and keep an eye out on the channel for future videos to do with traveling, to do with Interrail and all that kind of good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye. We dance.